So a lot of things there. So let's try to separate them a little bit. Just give our audience a little basic understanding about what is craniosacral therapy, what is visceral manipulation, what is healing from the core. So like just briefly, let's summarize for our audience.
Absolutely. So I even though you're studied in two different forms, craniosacral therapy and visceral manipulation, they are considered two different sort of manual modalities. Having studied both of them, I kind of see them as cousins of one another. And I have a lot of gratitude to the Upledger Institute and the Bar-Al Institute, where I think they're the premier institutions to really teach this work. But craniosacral therapy in and of itself is a way by which we're feeling into what we call the craniosacral rhythm. The rhythm is the cerebrospinal fluid that's moving through someone's body. And it's happening whether or not we can feel it, we know it, individually. But we can use that identification of that rhythm as a way to help determine where there are other restrictions in the body. And we feel them through fascial connections, through bony connections, through the energy that's running through our body as well. And it's when we put our hands on, it's a very light touch. It's really the weight of a nickel. And there's a way by listening to the body through our hands, through our internal navigational system, that we can then come up with what I like to call the roadmap of the body, where there are restrictions. So someone that may have had a neck injury, right? They might have had a car accident. Well, they have the pain up in their neck, but the pain now has become chronic. Why? Treating the neck, working the neck, but now this pain doesn't go away. Well, oftentimes it's because there was something else that has now become restricted from that injury. They were wearing a seatbelt, their ribs became rotated. There was a particular type of whiplash, the sacrum might have rotated. So by being able to really feel into the entire system, I can then expand my ability to really reach out and understand, well, how is one part relating to another? Now, in that line of visceral manipulation, to me, the reason why I call it cousins is because that one is asking us to listen into the organs. Because yes, we're not working, the heart specifically, but the heart is held in a pericardium. It's held with all kinds of fascial restrictions that if I have an injury and my ribs get twisted and my spine gets pulled out, well, guess what? So does that other tissue as well. So even though my heart may be healthy from a standpoint of needing a cardiologist, but I still have pain in my chest, there's a way in which we can actually feel into those very subtle systems and subtle tissues and release it through gentle touch. Just to let you know about that releasing, the releasing in this system, what's really cool and I love about it is very self-corrective. It's typically more indirect, meaning that I can feel with the person what's going on. Their body leads the way, and then we can feel, hold, wait, and then it lets on and can release. Kind of like where people are probably a little more familiar with myofascial work. There's a direct way and there's a little bit of an indirect way, but it's a very light touch for the most part, unless you're doing certain techniques. It's a light touch where we're feeling into that, that connective tissue that surrounds the muscle itself and holding, waiting, releasing for it to let go. So it's a way by which, using all these different systems, then we get a much more three-dimensional picture into what's going on with someone's body.